Hello, everybody. Hello, beautiful humans. This is Pisa Kitade coming with you again, a broadcast of independence with our features Shay, Kit, and Joy. Before we start, I want to say that about 50% of our ticket sales will be going to Freedom School, and there's an exciting write up about them that I just want to read to you guys. So, our Freedom School is a 3-week program for children aged 4 to 10. The purpose of the project is to respond to the lack of humanizing, self affirming, queer positive educational opportunities for Black children in the GTA. Freedom School will provide an alternative setting for parents who do not feel that their children are being taught self love and a passion for justice and liberation through their formal education. The program is designed to teach children about Black Canadian history and diasporic history, to engage children in political resistance to anti Black racism and state violence through a trans feminist lens, and to offer children an entry point into the hashtag Black Lives Matter movement. This is a very exciting way to donate, a place to donate, and 50% of the ticket sales will be going there. Also, our Discord is live, so while the poets are doing their amazing words, you can comment and send lovely emojis. Heads up, there is an emoji called the Angry Kiss, and I won't tell you more until you're on the Discord. Let's do our land acknowledgement because of that is immensely important. So, Voices of Today traditionally has taken place in what's commonly known as Toronto, traditionally the Huron, Wendat, Puton, Haudenosaunee, and Anishinaabe territories, as well as treaty territories, specifically the Dish with No One Spoon, One Palm Belt Convent between the Orun Haudenosaunee and the Anishinaabe territories, and the Toronto Purchase Treaty 13. As we move online, Voices of Today looks to amplify the voices of the original caretakers of the land across the globe. It's our goal to honor and offer to everyone on the over 10,000 years of Indigenous culture and history that exist worldwide. We recognize the majority of our current organizers live across Turtle Island, which is what the Lenni Lenape and the Iroquois people traditionally have called North America. As a festival, we acknowledge that reconciliation takes ongoing efforts from non Indigenous peoples. We ask all non Indigenous attendees to continuously learn about the history of land and its people, and from where they live and occupy, as well as to treat land with respect the best way we know how. Um, I'm an immigrant in Canada, and I know that I benefit from the treaties made here. I'm in Treaty 6 territory, homeland of the Métis in Saskatoon. And I know that every freedom, every education that I've had is because of the treaties made a long time ago. So, just some housekeeping before we start the show. Uh, while we're on the Discord, there should be no hate speech. It's not tolerated. Um, I'm just reminding you to go on our Discord so you can comment for when the poet is speaking. And if you have any words or any quotes that you love, um, in the middle of each person's showcase, I will be reading some comments and we can all like squeal together about how amazing everything is. There will be sensitive topics. So we have active listeners on the Discord if you ever need to talk about anyone. We also have Rabbit Richards who is around if anyone feels safe around the festival at any point. You can message Rabbit on Discord or move off Discord to texting if that's what you're comfortable with. 50% of our ticket sales will be going to Freedom School, so you can check them out online. Okay, so first person on our showcase is Joy Young. Joy Young is a performance and teacher for spoken word artists based in Phoenix, AX. Um, their performing works has been featured on Bottom Poetry and Everyday Feminism, as well as on stages and in colleges and classrooms across the US. Additionally, they are the co-founder and editor of Prickly Pear Printing, a project dedicated to highlighting written and visual work with a focus on growth, beauty, and the celebration of bodies and narratives often silenced. Whether creating storytelling curriculum for restorative justice or community engagement projects, running workshops that explore identity and what it means to be human, or performing their own poetry and stories, Joy's work seeks to cultivate strong personal narratives within a larger social justice context, which is why they were awarded the Mayor's Arts Award in 2018 and named the Storyteller of the Year by the Phoenix New Times in 2019. They believe our personal narratives should be a driving force for healing ourselves and the world around us, that they are a gateway through which we should consciously enter the world of social justice in hopes of creating understanding, connection, and making sustainable change. So I want everyone to please give a round of applause in your house for Joy Young.
Hi, my name is Joy Young. I'm coming to you from Phoenix, Arizona. Um, I spent the last week trying to figure out what poems have the message that I want to say in the world right now. Um, for me, my life right now is looking a lot like I'm quarantined almost all the time. My partner is chronically ill, and we're in kind of a hot spot for the pandemic. It feels like the world is on fire. So thank you for giving me a chance to share my voice, even from my home. If you do hear some scratching at my door here, my 80-pound dog is very mad I'm not petting her, that I am instead in here speaking to somebody she cannot hear or see. So sorry about that. Um, I hope that I leave you with some pieces that just have some hope in them. I'm going to start with a poem. It's even more awkward without an audience. Sorry, guys. I don't remember my grandfather or his funeral, but the legend passed down to me is that leading up to his death, he refused to listen to anyone about salvation in the next life. But my small self could sit in his lap and tell him all about Jesus. And the moral of the story, as my mother tells it, is maybe I saved my grandfather, but I don't believe in Jesus anymore. Just the gravity of expectation, the unraveling of hope as time unfolds a child and the truth stretches between generations until it breaks in two. And the moral of the story I try to hear from my mother is maybe my grandfather loved me in a way my mother cannot. And maybe that is salvation enough. Sorry, guys, I'm trying to get my teleprompter to work. That's my big secret. It's amazing. You can do a teleprompter when you're recording live and no one's watching you, instead of reading from a book. It gives you hands, which is great. So my family upbringing is pretty complicated, as you might guess from the last poem. I look like this. I grew up in a house where focus on the family was in the bathroom. I remember living in California as a kid in high school, figuring out I was gay because queer wasn't even a word I was aware existed. And having my family have signs out about wanting to define gay marriage or marriage as between a man and a woman. So I spent a lot of my adult life trying to build careful relationships with some of my family that I had lost after coming out. But I want to do a poem now instead of kind of grieving those losses, looking at a relationship that matters a lot to me even now. My nephew is 2 and learning to use the potty. Asks Aunt Joy to take him, which is weirdly an honor to be chosen. His father jumps to his feet, shouting, "No!" This is when I learn. My nephew learned to pee standing up next to his father, which is like kind of weirdly adorable. This is when my nephew learns I don't have a penis. I can't stand and pee next to him. We can't cross our streams. After my sister explains to him that girls don't have penises, he is really concerned about what might have happened to my pee. This is when I learn that when he calls me Aunt Joy, he doesn't realize Aunt is supposed to carry girl inside it. All he knows of boys and girls is the way my sister's long hair shakes no at messy, no at I don't want to clean my room, no at can I have some fruit snacks when she's making dinner. My nephew is 5 when he tells his mom no girls are allowed to play in his secret lab under the bed. And I claim a lie my family tells me about myself. Put on being a woman. Remind him Aunt is his mother's sister. Sister is girl. He answers, okay, but you're not a girl like Mom is a girl. And he's not wrong. I tell him to be nice to my sister anyway. He replies, okay, Aunt Joy, not knowing the way his voice says aunt, but refuses to cut me into pieces, refuses to project all the boy out of my body, refuses to force woman into the palms of my hands. My favorite thing about being a queer person is that I've had such a beautiful opportunity to create my own chosen family. And not that you have to be queer to have a chosen family, but when you come from a place where you kind of lose your family, you don't have a lot of choices. It's found family or being alone. And I spent a lot of time alone until I started figuring out how to build my own family. I just want to do a poem now, kind of about the family I have now. My wife and her sisters take photos together like it's going out of style. They pile on top of one another for a Polaroid, like love and bodies have no boundaries. They are always bursting out of the frame like there is more to the story. Somewhere, I will likely never be again. There is a Polaroid painted pastel. My sisters and me post-church, matching Easter dresses and white shoes, shoulder to shoulder, small, poised, everything in frame, before my mother captures us in a light box, imprints 2-dimensional girls she can hold in the palm of her hand. So I have a project I do with my partner. She's a photographer, so a lot of poems that are little short snippets are pieces that actually have paired photographs with them. I've come to really love Polaroid pictures. They have a great sense of nostalgia, and whenever I see these pictures she takes of us, I feel like it's reclaiming like this piece from my childhood where I felt so trapped and I hated being photographed. And I still hate being photographed, and recording myself is kind of my own nightmare. But when I look at the pictures after, I don't hate them as much anymore. Um, laying in the soft light of new morning, my love tells me if I were a type of light, I would be blue light. A time twice a day when the sun rises and falls like a sleeping chest rises and falls. When all the light bouncing off the blue sky becomes ripe blueberry blue. Like if I could just smear my fingertips across and into it, everything would ooze out purple and delicious as a first kiss. These are the kinds of conversations that come when a poet dates a photographer. She is always looking at the light, wondering what pictures might grow there. I think about light for weeks after our conversation, wondering what filter I'd need to put over the sun to bathe her all day in the light she sees pouring out of my body. I wonder if there's a depth in the ocean where the midday sun piercing through the water is blue as the setting sun's sky. I wonder if I am ever that, if the brightest I know how to be is a place she could drown in. The kind of love I am ever asks her to hold her breath. Spend weeks wondering what kind of light she might be. When traveling, sun breaks through clouds on a snowy day. Warmth brings my body back to life, and I think of her. This isn't the sun of my desert home heart. It can't be her. The truth is, I don't know what kind of light she'd be. But she always makes me think of sunflowers. The way I've seen them grow, even in the desert. How they were always looking to the light, being the thing that grows there. Thick stem holding up impossibly ridiculous bloom. Like it isn't a burden, like it is a joy to be this heavy. I imagine her as an entire field of flowers bursting with sunflower seeds, palms outstretched and open, face tilted ever toward the sun. So, doing poems that are about the things I love feels a lot more vulnerable, and I actually had to have friends kind of insist that I start performing things like love poems. I think not that sharing our trauma is easy, it's very difficult, but sometimes sharing the things that we hold closest to ourselves can feel the most vulnerable. It's something I encourage everyone to do, to try to write about the things that they care about, and the things that they love, in addition to dealing with their trauma, to build work that gives back to your audience in that way is something that I think is really beautiful. I'm just going to do another poem now. This poem is called Queer Wedding Suit in 3 pieces. 1. After I've proposed to my partner, my best friend and gender non-specific best person, Jenna, is psyched to tell me about these places in New York and LA that specialize in wedding attire suited specifically for genderqueer bodies. Suits as fitting and beautiful and safe as the queer love I am celebrating. The cost starts at $1,000. And isn't this the price of trying to be queer and happy? So often something we can't afford to wear. So often something that feels out of reach. So often something requiring great sacrifice or luck. And then there's the issue of travel and board and time taken off work. Isn't this the price of just trying to be queer and safe? These hidden tolls, these outfits that offer themselves up to us at a cost, often require us to leave places we call home, to pursue places we might tailor reality fit to hold us. 2, I do what queers have always done. I try to hodgepodge together happiness from whatever I can find. I start by online ordering a beautiful new belt. Of course, this is after research and emails verifying it will fit my small, sort of boy-like body. I know I'm not on a stage in front of you, but I'm very small and boy-like of my body. It arrives, and it is still too big, and I want to cry about it. And I know, in the grand scheme of things, a belt is such a small thing. But that's the point, isn't it? All these small things forcing us to fall in line, to bend, to shrink, to fold in on ourselves, to fold into silence. There is this legend about folding paper, that you can't fold a single sheet in half more than 7 times. And like most legends, it isn't exactly true, but it is based on fact. Exponential growth, the mathematics of power and space. And isn't that the definition of queer experience? The difficulty of folding oneself into the space allowed us. 3, stick with me on the math here. Each time you fold a standard sheet of paper in half, the thickness doubles. So in 10 folds, it's already the thickness of your hand. 23 folds and it's a kilometer. 41 and you're halfway to the moon, stretching something far beyond where you'd imagine its break point. At 51 folds, you reach the sun. And isn't that the definition of queer rage? To fold in on oneself to a point of ignition. Just as I feel my desire to cry about this belt, buckle into rage, my friend offers to resize it for me. Others offer to pitch in for the fancy suit. Bree, my future wife, sends me a picture of her friend's wedding. Queer partner looking dapper as fuck in a $99 suit from the Men's Warehouse boys department, and everyone offers to go there with me. Someone even calls ahead because we live in Phoenix and they want to make sure we can get a gay-friendly salesperson. It only takes 103 folds before a single sheet of paper would reach the edge of the visible universe. And isn't that the definition of queer hope? The capacity to stretch ourselves beyond the universe as we once knew it, to reimagine possibility, to experience the unfathomable reach of something so small. All right, I got one more for you. Thank you for your time and listening. But my wife's dad, Mike, hears his brother is brain dead. Grief balls itself into a fist and finds the wall, leaves a hole roughly the size of his heart. The heart is about the size of our fist, beats blood all the way down into our fingertips. Arteries pumping bloodlines through palms, holding tight to love lines we can only experience if we can let go enough to open up. Mike's heart is as open as they come. After bypass surgery, he reveled in watching 4 daughters grow up. His heart is a shelf life decades past projected expiration dates and has made more room for me than I ever rented from my own father's for perfectly pumping 4 chambers. And here I am, giving him this heart-shaped car ride to the airport. And while neither of us knows exactly how planes defy gravity, we are both familiar with the aerodynamics of expectation, and we both know what he's leaving to do. Heart-shaped fist wrapped around boarding pass, brother-sized exit wound waiting in the wall back home. But we don't talk about it, and all I can think about is the hole. It reminds me of all the holes I grew up with in my father's house, ones made by his fists. My father's fists were roughly the size of bruises on my brother. His fists held tight to leather belts and seemed to be able to fix anything but a family or a drinking problem or a queer kid, and I could never sort out how to patch things up in that crumbling home I came from. But thanks to my childhood and my construction working here father, I can fix this one thing before Mike gets back. I plaster over where his heart temporarily left his body, swallow my own family-sized grief, go to the Home Depot, match the paint, try with my own heart-sized hands to keep building something solid to come home to. Thank you again so much for having me. I appreciate the space and the stage, and I hope that you all are building poems in places that you want to call home too.
Oof, just a lot of just hitting and hitting, just a bunch of oof. Thank you so much, Joy, for that wonderful, wonderful set of poems. I was grinning from year to year, just reading the comments on the Discord. And I'm going to read some to you because one is very funny, and that's the first one. So, little children's understanding of gender can be so adorable. My dad has dimples, and my mom doesn't, and I have only one. So, they always call it my mommy cheek and my daddy cheek. And I thought all kids were born with one and would get another or lose the one depending on their gender. So that's a really, I really love that comment. And then another one said, I love sunflowers. When they can't find the sunlight, they grow towards each other. We have a lot of oof in the comment because it's true. It's just packing on with that wisdom, with those wise words, with a lot of snaps. Um, and then another one said, it's never really just about one little thing. It's about the fact that there are 100 little things stacked on top of each other that altogether are very big. And then another one, the difficulty of folding ourselves into little space allowed. Yeah, that poem was just wow. um, yeah, and then one last one. People being good people makes me so happy. Like I never cry over sad movies, but I'm absolutely bawling at people just helping each other out. And that's such a wonderful way to put it all. Thank you so much, Joy. You guys have had a taste of what is to come. But before that, we have a wonderful open micer. Um, Mo the Poet. They will be doing a set of poems for us, and then we'll get around to the features. Thank you.
It's called Ode to the Wake Up Call. 7 a.m. on the dot. Stifled screams bounce back and forth on the ceiling like a bullet waiting to infect my heart and lungs. Knee locked and loaded, upright, waiting for my permission to pull the trigger. I do not like you. Who asked you to come over? You disrespectful tool. Leg, pale and brown. How long have you been curled up like that, my love? I fell asleep hours ago. I did not know. My muscles contract every minute like a mother in labor. You make me question if I'll get out of bed today. Blood pulsates through my veins and around my skin. If I move, the trigger will go off. Screams will echo throughout my insides. The infection will spread. If I don't inhale, exhale, stretch slowly, avoid my tear duct stains. Your stay has been a delight.
Thank you so much, Mo the Poet. I know a lot of people could relate with that poem. Um, and you can also sign up for open mics on the Discord before the show. So just go to there and we can sign you up for a open mic before a showcase. So the next person that we have is Kid Temple. Kid Temple is a poet, singer, and otherwise loosely defined artist. They are a biracial, non binary lesbian who has spent their life as a settler on the unceded lands of Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh. Kit's work centers around perpetual recovery, gay earning, and complex accessory, and re-understanding themselves, also ghost. They competed at the 2019 Canadian Festival of Spoken Word representing Vancouver and were finalists in the Canadian Individual Poetry Slam to 2020. They have been published in the West 49 Literary Mag and Van Pride magazine. They have also self-published two short poetry collections like Fallen 2018 and Hypomanic Girl Crush 2019 and a unreformed emo kid Cirqua 2006. Kid is hot shit and full of feelings and good at it. I believe that. So welcome, Kid Tempo.
Hi, my name's Kit. Thank you so much to Voices of Today for having me. I'm really excited to be here. I'm excited to see everybody else and all the art you bring to the stage screen thing we have going on. In addition to the hosts discussing the land acknowledgement for the festival as a whole, I also wanted to discuss like where I'm coming from. I'm performing in my bedroom, which is on the unceded traditional, ancestral, and rightful lands of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh peoples, colonially known as Vancouver, out on the west coast. Um, Being a biracial but non-Indigenous settler on this land, and engaging specifically with spoken word as well, I think it's important for me to understand my relation to the artwork we're doing. My mom is Black and French, African American and French, and my dad is Italian and English. And given that spoken word and slam in how we're presenting it comes from such a long tradition of oral storytelling, specifically within Indigenous and Black communities, um, understanding and negotiating my relationship to the art form, both its past, present, and its future, is something I think about whenever I'm writing or performing. Um, or living in this land, trying to keep it at the forefront of my mind in the actions that I participate in, the solidarity work I do, and the art I make. Um, yeah, in addition to the identities that I was telling you, I hold my ancestry and my familial relations. I'm also a non binary lesbian, and I have a lot of brain shit going on. So you're going to see kind of a mix of all of this going on in a lot of the work that I do and a lot of the art that I make. Yeah, I wanted to let you know I'm also 25. I feel like that's important for a youth festival that y'all know that I'm 25. I've been a youth most of my life up to this point. Um, but I wanted to make a set list of poems that dealt with like me thinking about my youth a whole lot. I'm coming to the end of it and really understanding what like my teens and early 20s meant to me, my preteens, everything really. The first one I wanted to start off with is actually based on a video game that I've been playing a lot over quarantine. It came out in like 2015, based in 2013, and the character in the game is the same age as I am, and she's also gay, and she was one of the first characters I really saw myself in. And so I wrote a poem from her perspective, because why not? If you can guess the game, nice job. A broken truck can drive a fantasy right off a cliffside. Thought I was prepared for the fall with my father's toolbox and my mother's mourning. My rage. Rusted like the truck, leaving red dusted on the knuckles of kid fists that dented the hood, the depression left where a motor should be, like a grave not packed tight enough with dirt. She said we prayed to dead stars, and I said I didn't pray to anything. A lie. I asked my father for advice all the time. How do we burn it all down? The light of what she'd done reflecting long after Arcadia was gone. The heat stayed in the air all week. 2 a.m. snow angels in the ash left us red with heat burn. I drew a star on her forearm and said forever. Designed our great escape in her school planner. I wanted to see her where it was warm all the time. Jumped a train, some stolen wine. Let's run. A viewfinder and a nail file. I can't. A forest fire. A goddamn inferno. Let's run again. No one had asked me twice before. So I drew my own wings on the bathroom wall with the same Sharpie I marked her universe with. Said, look, by my wings or my wheels will escape. I loved her, and she loved me. A promise I could believe in. What kind of a world does that? Her duffel bag in the back of my truck. $3,000 in a goodbye note. Nothing but our names on asphalt walls for the town to remember us by. I had my father's tools. She had her mother's rage. What kind of a world does that? Her duffel bag in the back of my truck. $3,000 in a goodbye note. Nothing but our names on asphalt walls for the town to remember us by. I had my father's tools. She had her mother's rage. We were going to get out. We were. It's very awkward because usually there's applause, but there's not applause because this is a video. The next piece I'm going to do is more about like my personal teendom back in like 2014 or so, around about there. It's called Teardown Party. I did it for Mash Poetics, which R.C. Wazlowski runs out here. The song I was prompted with is Fuck My Life 666 by Against Me. It's a great song. Go check it out. And check out Mash Poetics if you get a chance. RC's cool. Devin and I sit together on the hardwood floor at the demolition party. I stole the chocolate porter from the abandoned fridge. He cried while melting cotton candy into vodka. We transitioned turbulent through social scenes and genders. Only knew how to look like ourselves when the mirror was not our own. Spent too much time in our best friend's guest bathroom, existing just left of our reflections, politely. A home can be measured in how many stick and pokes you regret, and how many people refuse to meet your eyes in public. 19-year-olds never learned how to witness, only fucked without looking and told stories of what we did to our bodies over rounds of truth or dare. We fell asleep on each other. Or, I fell asleep on the bath mat in the basement to lullaby whispers of malformed breasts and anxious hips. We knew enough about becoming to speak of the pain, but never the glory. Worked the hurt into our new names until it ached to greet each other. Double bound or tucked, seeing any of us with a relaxed body was an experience. Always smiling, we made incisions from incisors. Bit down so hard on our own living that we bled where we should have been breathing. Proved we were desired with blood between our teeth. Only tasted the tragic, though. Undefined palates can hardly discern between the dysphoria, the dystopia, and the wasn't this all our fault anyway? I watched friends flit in and out of hospital. We kissed each other blue-lipped, blush-pink pills in our hands. The teen spirit always smelled like something dying. Maybe it was us. Teendom lasts so much longer when you have to learn to grow twice over. We ran out of the house by 7 a.m. Barely escaped the newest absence of an old address, demolition. How fluent we were in absconding what others called homes. Nowadays, I shamble through this city, try to unknow it. I rot like an old house, leave parties too early, belt songs alone at dawn, burn my skin a sunrise pink, sing myself sober on stranger streets. We don't speak anymore. But I remember what all their voices used to sound like. Untuned piano settles into the basement of a teardown, played one last time by drunk teenagers boasting bad decisions and messy loves. This is a perpetual story. Different names and different people, too. Making homes out of demolitions. Loving like absence embodied. Like, how almost dead have you been? And surviving it anyway. Painting ourselves in the dust of this rubble. Waiting for someone else to watch us become. Yeah, this next piece is called Should Have. It's about a girl I had a crush on in high school. uh, yeah. Oof. Women, am I right? Anyway. I drop false magics from the tip of my tentative tongue. Should have. Like I can spellbind my past selves to decisions I didn't know were made. Unintentional faults that led to dating the boy that looked just like her. Or chasing the girl who was so cold I was courting consistency in her rejections. This should have weighs so heavy it dislocates a jaw, closes the throat. Ironic to show all the tools of confession with an open mouth and still keep my feelings behind my teeth. This is not a regret. This is knowledge that I did not do what I should have. The taste of one menthol cigarette shared between anxious lips. I did not touch her hands, but I held the smoke gentle with my mouth. Wandered the playground after the children went to sleep, only bad influences with no one left to watch. Tipsy on her mother's red wine and absence, dirtying our reputations for no one but each other. A midnight green jealousy flowed over me, in waves strong enough to wash away the smell of the smoke. Out for so many years, yet unable to disentangle the friendship from the want, I coughed when the mint hit the back of my throat. My mouth confused it was not her breath, did not understand this was wanting to kiss her. We spent days by the lake, a dozen day-old donuts and BC Bud, getting high like it was still cool, and eating, for once, in front of each other. The $4 sugar high playing catch-up to our headiness. I never thought it could be love, only the weed. Maybe I was right. But I was also 17, so maybe I didn't know anything at all. Went back to her apartment with a friend, lived there for a week, stole from the grocery store and stayed up too late, watching shit TV and leaving the windows open after midnight. Spend too long in the washroom and we knock politely, but forget how to open the door. Sleep in separate beds. Scared to hold her body, so I keep mine tucked away in tight clothes and compulsory femininity. Make this innocent, the way I averted my eyes, her black bikini, too young to know that not looking was the embodiment of shame. Called it respect instead of fear. We both liked girls, but stayed up late the same night talking in circles around it. The boy that looked like her, his brother, same taste in men or same avoidance tactics, gave us excuses to share secrets till 2 a.m. and say nothing about each other. Told her about the night with the blue leopard print bra and the exposed bone. Couldn't read her tone when she said she'd heard I'd fucked him. Maybe I should have. Learned how to live in this body. Named the feelings for what they were. Asked to kiss her, maybe. But we can't be 17 in our 20s. And we learned how to love despite ourselves. She has a girl now. A maybe almost wife-to-be. She says soulmate, but far away. Says she misses me in the same breath she says she wants to marry her someday. When I see her next, it will be all catching up and gentle flirting. No commitment, or knowing what is maybe there. I will be flustered in one breath and smooth the next sentence. We will drink coffee, or she will drink white wine, and I will drink ginger beer. Point out our new tattoos without touching each other's skin. I will ask about her engagement ring, what she loves about this woman. I will not be jealous. I will smile with the taste of mint at the back of my throat, put my jaw back where it belongs, and never ask her what I should have done. So, I've got two more for you. This one is about Vancouver. I was born and raised here. I've grown up here, and I always joke around. Any emo kid needs to leave their hometown. I am an emo kid. I'm not sure if you can tell. Always have been. But it's a complicated thing to navigate living in the same place your whole life. So I wrote a poem about it. I wear boots and assume the concrete is cold. My skin has not touched it in weeks. It's no longer weather for bare feet. Winter courting autumn for longer than autumn deserves, without any sort of commitment. How Vancouver? I know it's going to rain the same way I know I'm not going to graduate in the springtime. Again. Let the city keep ruminating on my present. Rebirth has never suited me. Sticky corpses of who I was, am, trailing behind me like cans on a car. I want to hate this city. This land is not at fault for what has been done to me on top of it. It's a home I don't know how to take care of. This body, and this city. I prune the dead from my heels and cut the grass. Both grow back. Both remind me they were here first. We are too tangible to be real ghosts here. We've all almost died, publicly or privately. Busy trying to feel if the sidewalk is still cold in the winter time. You need skin to stay. Be tender enough to cut, but rough enough to buff away the scar. The aesthetic of dreaming is all in the way you wear yourself. How good do you look under the siren lights on the way to the dance party? When was the last time that noise scared you? I sing in the streets I grew into myself on. Try to wander them like a new kid. Find a place I haven't met yet, nearly impossible. Finish the chorus. Make eye contact with strangers. This feels like a threat. It is not the land's fault for the city built upon it. It's not my fault I can't hear my own voice singing over the sounds of sirens in my hometown. The last time I listened, there were promises of catastrophe like the red, splashing over the asphalt, will not always be you, will sometimes just be lights. I dare the sidewalks to make good on it. So that's Vancouver. If you've never been, that's my interpretation. Yeah. So I have one more poem left for you. And I wanted to do this one because it's kind of most relevant to who I am now as like a 25-year-old human adult person. I don't know. We're still working on it. It's called Arrogant. It's good. I like it. It's a good word, right? Anyway. Here we go. We kiss batteries for fun. Pop bubbles with the tips of our tongues, metallic and shattering. We flirt with consequence and sometimes commitment. Throw darts underhand while she shoots fireball. Grow out our undercuts in time to tattoo our knuckles, arrogant. We go to a straight bar, kidnap the jukebox, feed it a 20. Play nothing but Distillers and Angel Haze all night. Smoke weed on her rotting deck. What kind of ancestors are we becoming? Trauma bond in their Airbnb, and then again in yours. Muse about the shrooms you'll do when you're both finally on different meds, hopefully the kind that keep the children alive. Call me handsome, but not out loud. And I'll try to write you like the first poem I ever loved. We are leather-clad and genderless, jet-lagged, in cities that haven't learned our newest names. None of this is significant. We are not the first. But history is hard to trace when the diaries of those before us are soaked, unreadable, straight washed and whitewashed, like we were something dirty before. Be dirtier now. Scare the straight men and women with square shoulders, cigarette smoke and sobriety, or not, and sweat. We make our skin a manual on how not to die. If we want to learn to love existing, we only need to watch each other. A lesbian builds a home of herself, a steadiness in themselves, and never has to watch it collapse. And that's me. Please enjoy the rest of the night. It's going to be a fantastic showcase. I'm super excited. And have a fun week. I will be tuning in for as much as I can. Thank you again. Bye.
Thank you so much for that wonderful show. It was just filled with laughter, filled with joy. So thank you, kid. We have some lovely comments from our Discord. Um, First off, we have Kai saying, "I love this poet. We do too." And then very stealthily saying that everyone should buy this poet's merch. And you can buy the poet's merch by Demon, DMing Kate Temple on Instagram, and they also have two chapbooks via PDF. So you can get more information from Kai or from going to our Discord and looking at our chats. We also have a lot of snaps, a lot of gifts with dancing, a lot of yeses, poetry. We also have a lovely quote, dirtying our reputation for no one but each other. We also have, we all know, we all know that you're emo, Kate. You hide it so well. I love that. Okay, so we're gonna go to our last feature for the night. This is Shay Alexi. Shay Alexi is a poet, performance artist, and illustrator based out of Atlanta, GA. And they are the author of Diary of a Ghost Girl and Glass Poetry Press. And their work has been featured in the Rhombus, Abogy, and Anomaly, amongst others. Read more about them and find their work at www.shayalexi.com. So please give a warm, warm welcome to Shay Alexi.
Oh, love, that is love, but not lover. God bless you. You hold my name in your cathedral mouth. Anoint me, and I recall gentleness. The stoops all smell like piss in your city. Still, I love it here because you love it here, and I love you. You cook 4 trays of mac and cheese, knowing we will eat one. I remain a glutton for you. I remain a glutton of you. I hope I give enough back. You taught me a person is only absent if you can feel them missing. How lucky I am that you are sometimes absent, never all the way gone. Oh, love, that is love, but not lover. God bless you. You are the spring for whom I bloom through any winter. We laugh and look pretty. We smile and spite death. Heaven is your living room made golden by that new track. You know the one. I catch you singing it in your sleep. My beloved, you call me on my shit and likewise. Our together is too holy to inhabit spoiled and stupid. You, all no bra and no nonsense, I love you. You, bathroom stall crier, sad bitch, I love you. You, boy with the concert hall car, I love you. Me, I love, as you taught me to love. Me, I love, 'cause you love me. Oh, love, that is love, but not lover. God bless you. Keep yourself safe. Text me back. How's it going, Voices of Today? My name is Shay, Alexi. I am so excited to be here with you today, virtual as it may be. I still wanted to start with a moment of tenderness and community because that is what has been on my heart. That is what is in my heart, if it is not clear already. I am a very tender-hearted person. I am, in fact, a Pisces, which is, it's science, the personification of a puddle. That's right, I'm actually a small body of water in a flesh suit, which means it is a miracle that I am here performing poetry for you rather than just lying as my floppy fishy self on the floor. So welcome. I'm so excited to be here with you all today. Thank you to Voices of Today. Thank you to Robin specifically for reaching out to me. I'm so glad to be here. I am coming at you not quite live from my beloved home in Atlanta, Georgia. If you hear some rain outside, if you hear some babies crying in the hallway, you know we live in a whole ecosystem and we get to share one another's ecosystem in this current climate. But as I said, I am a Pisces. I am a water-oriented, beloved mess. And so my second poem today is also about a body of water. Yeah, let's get into it. On November 20th, 1980, a Texaco oil rig drilled into the salt mine under Louisiana's Lake Peniel, permanently altering the natural ecosystem and rendering a once freshwater body saline. Lake Peniel speaks to the oil rig. Before the salt, I do not remember. My deepest skin carries the mark of your helixed teeth. Before, I used to ask questions. Do you remember what I taste like? Recall for me how you took vastness and demanded it be deeper. Now I cease interest in why a drill drills. I know, and I do not forgive you. Perhaps my only curiosity lies in what a boring tool begets. Sons, I know. First petroleum. Next, a boy raised on oil chooses to slick himself with that which will kill him, crafts a bandage from a person, bleeds straight through, he swims in me, takes on salt, says I am hard to swallow, spits me up and cries, why must I be so full of myself? Easy. Because I am empty of you. I am so salt now. Less lake, more circle, more protection spell. Thank you for opening this body so I might pour my holy mineral down each vessel your mud pumps ache to cut into. See every soft yellow suited body float in my middle. Safe we are here. You will see still water still and call them tense, angry, as if a machine is entitled to even a wave's aggressive caress. I am not mad. I am saturated, brimming with the seasoning of safety. Now, a middle full of loving creatures. Now, still water. Now, salt. Thank you, guys. Yes, yes, I am a poet, obviously. That's why I'm here with you today. I am also an illustrator and a theatrical educator. So all of this being said, I think it's important, particularly in the time of 2020, that we articulate, as my partner so often does, that poems are beautiful, and poems in and of themselves, by their plain old existence, do not alter our material experiences, do not immediately change the world by existing in it. They might change your world, but they don't change the larger ecosystem that we occupy. So I want to take a moment. I've only written a few things in quarantine, only a few things that I like and would share, but I wanted to take a moment to read this work. In this time, as I said, it is important in poem. It's important that we recognize that we as artists have work to do in the world that goes beyond a page. This is a little sampling of some work on a page that relates to the work I try to do in my everyday life. It has also been a large part of discourse around the concept of police abolition. What that actually is has become sort of lost in a lot of dialogue. So this poem is actually posted online with a link to 8toabolition.com. If you're interested in concepts of police abolition or just would like to do some reading to see if you're interested, that is a great place to start. But this is a sonnet against the police. Oh, love a farm. Oh, love a field. We grow chickens and radishes and love, my love, I say abolish, and mean why have we a quince tree? I say useless, and mean still bears fruit. With sugar come jam. You bake bread. Now, love, we sleep and do not dream. The pigs next door, they squeal and peel us from our beds. Over coffee, I say violent and mean reek. Mean mud-crusted neighbors, but the neighbors, the human ones, together we harvest. From the root, the dirt. From the dirt, our hands will wrinkle. Holy the creases. Blessed wither, blessed neighbor, we change each other's oil. We are each other's yield. Thank you, guys. So like I said, I am a poet, I am an illustrator, I do a lot in multi-genre art. So lots of these things are available on my website, which is shayalexi.com. That poem is available as a graphic poem, meaning that it comes with illustrations. So if you want to see what my drawing of a chicken looks like, definitely check it out. But more importantly, check out 8toabolition.com so that we can get the work we do on the page, off the page, to affect our day-to-day world. So I have a bit of a longer piece to close us out with. I have to read it, which is why I'm looking at my laptop screen, which is below my phone screen. We love technology. So I have been in therapy for 9 months now, which was a big development in my life. I was diagnosed with obsessive compulsive disorder shortly after starting therapy. So it's been a little less than 9 months of learning how to navigate that. And recently I read a memoir by a person who is navigating a similar mental illness that meant a lot to me, and I thought that it might be interesting to explore some sort of cross-genre work with that, with stories of me coming back to my body, both in terms of my mental illness and in terms of, healing, restoration, tenderness, all of that good stuff. So this is actually a section from what I guess I'm calling right now a lyrical memoir with poems. Whoa, multi-genre, I know. It ends with a poem, which will be the last poem that I share with you today, but the whole thing reads very lyrically, so it still feels appropriate. We will be starting, I'm going to pull this a little bit closer to me. Whoa, Zoom, hello. What was I saying? I'm going to start from chapter 2. I'm going to start from chapter 2. The only thing that you need to know is that I refer to my obsessive compulsive disorder as Space Me, or sort of a second self that exists in an astronaut suit about 12 feet above my head. So here we go. Chapter 2. I will certainly ruin everything, and it will start with pea soup on snow white carpet. Who buys white carpet anyway? Can you imagine thinking, I want this living room to look like a hospital, but make the floors soft. I want a place for guests to sit, but never really get comfortable. A crime. Body modification in inventory. Item 1, mascara. Doe-eyed, some 1960s actress sings In My Own Little Corner from Roger and Hammerstein's Cinderella. It doesn't matter if I want her or want to be her. Right now, what I want is to enter rooms palm fronded. I want my eyes royal and fanned by spider legs, 2 round spears of goth nobility. My body is overcooked pasta. I barely even remember what it looks like most days, but my eyes, adornment. In a way, though, it is a gift. If I wasn't thinking and rethinking about pouring this soup on this asinine carpet, finally relieving it of its incessant pompousness and inviting it to, perhaps, join the land of the living, I would be thinking about lesbianism. Body modification and inventory. Item 2, tattoo 1. A small scroll of script on my wrist. Pretty. Something about God. When first thinking to celebrate my body, I threw a party not for her, but for her capacity for service. Learning to kiss is like the first moon landing. Since you're just starting out, you don't have much to compare it to, and first impressions really count. This is why, having just made out with a boy for the first time, I appear to be hounded by soup and carpets when I am really being hounded by space me. She is whispering in my ear, what if we like girls, we cannot like girls? What if we like girls, we cannot like girls? What if we... A body modification and inventory. Item 3, tattoo 2. The Pisces constellation surrounds my collarbone, received in fellowship, ink as bread breaking. I tell myself it is about all the space that I can take up and then show it off via text message to another bad boyfriend. It is aspirational. I have not been able to focus on what this boy has been saying for hours at this point, but for some reason he insisted on making me soup, and now I have to eat it in his unbearably pristine family home. I guess it makes sense, though. The same type of person who would select white carpet for their living room would also rear a son who is the type of person to make somebody pea soup after sloppily putting his mouth against theirs. Body modification in inventory. Item 4, tattoo 3. My best friend is with me. I go under the needle alone. Flowers, a bouquet. As I write this, I leave the page to dress her, as I do daily, in lotion. What I do not know at this moment is that months later, this boy will take me to the zoo on what is not a date, but also my first date ever. We will spend too long observing the elderly porcupines, and I will want to kiss him. Both of these feelings will make me sad, though I won't be able to tell which one makes me sadder. Obsessive-compulsive disorder. DSM-5 diagnostic criteria. Presence of obsessions, compulsions, or both. Obsessions are defined by 1 and 2. 1. Recurrent and persistent thoughts, urges, or impulses that are experienced at some time during the disturbance as intrusive and unwanted, and in most individuals cause marked anxiety or distress. Did you ever watch that TV show Monk starring Tony Shalhoub? One day, some 15 or 25 or 32-year-old person will read this, and that sentence will sound like it's in another language. All you really need to know is that a white, middle-aged man detective monk solves crimes and has OCD and has to touch every lamppost he passes and would bathe in disinfectant if he could. 2. The individual attempts to ignore or suppress such thoughts, urges, or images, or to neutralize them with some other thought or action, i.e., performing a compulsion. Anyway, that show was the first time I heard about OCD or really even saw mental illness portrayed on television. And here's the thing, I want to see Monk bake bread. Compulsions are defined by 1 and 2. 1. Repetitive behaviors, e.g., hand washing, ordering, checking, are mental acts that the individual feels driven to perform in a response to an obsession or according to rules that must be applied rigidly. I want to see Monk dance to bad pop music. I want to know Monk's favorite song. I want Monk to wear a funny hat and make his friends laugh and post hot pictures on the internet. Did Monk ever send nudes? Everybody sends nudes. 2. The behaviors or mental acts are aimed at preventing or reducing anxiety or distress or preventing some dreaded event or situation. However, these behaviors are not connected in a realistic way with what they are designed to neutralize or prevent. What if OCD is a significant part of Monk's life and also not the most interesting thing about him? What is Monk's favorite wine to bring to a dinner party? When's the last time Monk went to the beach? What reality show is Monk's guilty pleasure? Is it the Real Housewives franchise? Mine is the Real Housewives franchise. Take a moment to look that up, 15 or 25 or 32-year-old reader. Have a good laugh. What have you been up to? I slick my heels and my love delights. I bleed. Again. I am gay and futile, so at least 50% like everything else. I bathe green beans at dawn, myself at dusk, boil all the lanky bodies to better bear the frost. Sometimes I laugh. I callous and laugh. How rude to go nowhere and still split anyway. I pick it all open, the skin, the sea, the internet, and blood again, and futile, so 100% like everything else, or 100% like 90% of everything else. Once my lover said yes, and my liver turned to honeybees. Once a child said yellow, and the sky forgot the night. Once a man said empire, and God laughed, let loose their lipsticked mouth, and laughed in his hot, forsaken face. I dirty myself with butter or blood, again, incessant, the evening news, everywhere and unbearable, like everything else, I guess. What I'm trying to say is that mostly I've been deciding. Even if nothing matters, something matters to me. Thank you so much, Voices of Today. Thank you again to Robin. Thank you for sharing this virtual space with me, for hearing my words. If anything that I said today resonated with you, if you want to see any of those graphic poems I was talking about or any other little bits of my brain, you are more than welcome to visit www.shayalexi.com. That is S-H-A-Y, not like the butter, although I hope I nourished you similarly. Thank you guys for holding the space with me. Please make sure you drink your water, text your friends back, take care of yourself. I am thankful for you being here, but also for you being here on Earth. I wish you all the best and enjoy the rest of this magnificent festival.
Thank you so much, Shay, for that wonderful, wonderful set. What a way to end the night. Before we go, you know the drill. We have to read some comments. So we have my Pisces moon feels seen. Definitely, I feel that too. I'm more of a Scorpio moon, but I still feel it in my heart. We have some quotes that everyone love. I know and I do not forgive you. Big line really hits it. Easy because I am empty of you. That's a whole mood and a half. Spits me up and cries, why am I so full of myself? Damn. Separating my brain from me has been so helpful with dealing with unhelpful thoughts. So thank you, Shay, for reminding us of that. Um, want to kiss him. And we have some hearts. We have a lot of so soft and confronting. So thank you so much, Shay, for the lovely set. And thank you for our features tonight. Thank you, Shay, Joy, and Kit, for making today be about healing, be about comfort, and be about nurturing. So we have some sponsors to thank. Thank you to the Ontario Arts Council and the Toronto Arts Council as well as the Golden Brick Road Publishing. Without them, we won't be able to do this today. Um, Thank you to those that paid for tickets because of 50% of our donations will be going to Freedom School. You can find more information about them online. Um, there will be another event going on today, last event. It is going to be the Undies, yes. Underground Slam, where poets compete head to head. I will be hosting with Billy, so that will be super great. The Zoom link can be found on Facebook, Voices of Today, and Instagram, Voices of Today too. We also want to thank our volunteers, our venue captain, Chuck, our SS person, Zane, active listeners, Samia and Kui, StreamYard Tech, Kai, StreamYard video streamer, Billy, live stream watch, Oza, and direct message, Zane, and I guess myself too for hosting. But really, I'm just there as a gatekeeper so you guys can see some amazing show. It will be the Undies will be live on Zoom at 6:30 p.m. PST and 9:30 p.m. EST. So it will be a great show. I love it. Poets going head to head. That's it for our broadcast. I hope everyone has a wonderful time. And to say what Shay said, to drink some water, reach out to friends, just have a lovely night. Until the Undies. See you then. Bye bye.